Getting high naturally. Is it possible? Can you get as high naturally without anything as you get high on mushrooms, on weed, or on something else? Well, I think I have to share my own experience. I've been smoking weed consistently for a couple of years of my life. It was 4 years ago, and I believed it helped me a lot with my spiritual awakening, with becoming aware of my body, because at that time I started doing yoga. At that time I started doing breathing exercise. At that time I first started experiencing this like a sort of out of body experience when you just dissolve with everything and when you just like feel that love. And I think it started firstly when I was a little bit high on weed. It helped me a lot, definitely, but I always knew I don't want weed to be a constant part of my life. It was helpful for me at that period of time because I was going from the very deep depression, from the very dark places, and it helped me definitely. But I knew I had to give it up at some point. When I changed my location, when I changed my relationship, my circle, it just wasn't part of my life anymore. And now I can tell you, I'm getting as much high, probably even higher, just on my own supply, just myself, without weed, than I was getting when I was smoking weed. Of course, it doesn't feel as much as it felt there when I was like, of course you're sober, and when you smoke you go psh, and when you get high naturally it never feels like psh. It's always like gradual step that you take in there, and you probably not even noticing that kind of highness that you're experiencing right now just because it's natural for you. It's organic. It's like with everything. What means like organic growth on social media or organic growth of your business? When you gradually, slowly taking steps there, But if you just skyrocket like this, it will always bounce back. It's just the law of nature. If you're taking a quantum leap somewhere else like this, you will bounce back. I mean, there is nothing wrong with having a roller coaster in your life, and a lot of people enjoy it, and I myself, I enjoyed it a lot before. I considered myself as alive. I experienced in high, I experienced in low. I'm just living this life on maximum. I loved it. Personally, I enjoyed it. Not anymore, but that was a beautiful time in my life. I consider weed, microdosing, antidepressants, all kind of drugs that you take on consistent basis. I mean, every day, every week, or every month. I mean, all of these things that kind of helping you to cope with this reality. I'm talking about all these things. And I see these things as kind of, when you started driving your bicycle, two wheels bicycle, and first when you are little you need those two additional small wheels by the sides of your bicycle to help you to find the balance first. And I see these substances, these helpful substances, as these two additional wheels that's kind of helping you to find the balance. Nothing is wrong with this. I know the reality can be very cruel sometimes, and I know you're probably dealing with lots of anxious thoughts, with fear of the future, probably even panic attacks, and it's not always easy to find the ground here in this society. And when the world just seems going crazy, and you kind of maybe even finding your own ground, your own safe place with these substances, and I'm happy it's helpful for you. But if you're ready to step out of this and find this happy place, this safe place, this ground just within yourself, without anything outside of you, without any kind of substances, if you feel that this chapter of your life where you constantly depend on something is about to over, continue listening. There is always a reason why you're using this, because if you're just happy and you just like go in there just because, I don't know, they say, I'm generally very happy, but when I take those I'm even more happy, and it kind of helps me to experience even more juice of life. That's a lie, okay? You don't need anything to experience that juice of life. That juice of life is always available to you. You are missing on something big if you are constantly experiencing this juice of life with something else, because you will never be able to experience that juice of life naturally if you constantly take in something. And it will take for you long time to develop a new natural high. But again, if you want to find solid ground within yourself without anything, you have to look deeply to the reason why are you even taking these things in the first place. What are you hiding? What are you afraid of looking at? Next time when you feel urge to do this, and when this darkness is taking over you, and when you start feeling this anxiety or whatever is this, it comes for you, and before maybe you get used to take one of these substances, and now you have to just sit down with this and look at the face of this thing that's kind of, look at the face of this darkness and say, I see you. I see you. I accept you as you are. Or I am experiencing you. I'm not afraid to experience full roller coaster of anxiety that just comes to me right now. I will take it and I will let it to go through me. I'm not gonna hold for this. I'm not gonna become part of this. When you're sitting with your darkness, with your shadows, and you're not afraid to look at their face, to look directly and say, I see you. I'm not afraid of you. The same time you are healing those shadows, the same time you are dissolving these shadows with your light. After you are taking all this darkness that comes after you, when you are completely sober, you realize, oh, it's not that bad, I just experienced all these things. Yeah, I was a little bit sad, but now I feel so much better. With the time, you will develop your natural high. And again, it not will be as strong as your high on something else, just not because it's not as high, it's probably even higher, but because you were taking these steps naturally for months or for years of your life, and you're probably not even gonna notice that you are high. But I want to tell you about my own experience. A couple days ago, we were taking a walk with my boyfriend, and I started talking about blind people. I feel that world of blind people is kind of a completely different world, and they experience this in a very interesting way. Probably all the other senses are more open, and they have a completely different reality, which is very interesting, and I don't think this reality is any less than ours. And he's like, what are you talking about? There are blind people. I'm just like, yeah, but I don't think there is something wrong with it. I think God made them like this for a reason, and I don't think they have less than us. He's like, do you want to get blind or something? You can just close your eyes if you want to get blind. And I was like, okay. I closed my eyes. And we were on the street, we were by the road, and we were walking to the shopping mall to get some food. And it was about 20 minutes walking, like by the road, and there's some things. And I just closed my eyes, and he held my hand, and he was guiding me through the street on our way. And that was such an intense experience. It was one of the most intense experiences of my life. Like instantly, I just felt that's the space. I mean, this like 3-dimensional space, it just doesn't exist. It's like I'm walking in, I don't know, it's hard to explain. Anyway, my senses like instantly opened so much. I mean, I start feeling the wind so strongly. I start feeling how my foot stepping on the ground. I start hearing more sounds, they become more louder, and I start hearing every single sound around me. And I was walking like this with his hand holding me till the mall for the next 20 minutes. And after I got so high, I couldn't cope with what's going on in the mall, because there was like so many noises, so many colors. The light was so bright, and I was just staying like this, and I was like, what is going on? Like, I didn't want to be there. I wanted to go again into my present state and just hearing birds instead of the people like talking in the mall and this noise. And anyway, we got food, we get back home, and I was still feeling high. I was experiencing reality in a very different way. again, my senses were open. I was very present. For me, that was such a discovery that you can get high just by walking with your eyes closed for a little bit. And I think you really have to walk. It's not about just like sitting and going into meditation. I mean, you can get high like this for sure, but that was something different. And I'm sure there is a lot of ways, like breath technique and doing these things just by being present, just by having intention to notice your body, to notice your sensation, to notice everything what's going on around you. You can get high naturally, and that's a beautiful thing. But it's not even that beautiful because you are high, because when you don't rely on any kind of substances outside of yourself, you feel very grounded, you feel very confident in life, you feel that nothing will shake you, you feel you can appear in every situation of your life, and you will be all right. You'll be all right just as you are, and you don't need anything else to be all right. I'm not against any kind of substances. I am for that every single one of us develop that kind of ground within ourselves, develop that kind of peace within ourselves, and we don't depend on anything else. We don't depend on drugs, we don't depend on therapy, we don't depend on our family, on our friends, on our partner, on anything. We can be grounded, happy, peaceful, just as we are, whenever we are, and no matter what. And I believe every single one of us can develop that kind of fundament, solid fundament inside themselves. It takes time, it takes work, but it's worth it. That was my message for today. And I love you so much. Thank you so much for being here.